Hey guys, this is Conky. I was the caster for Extremesland in 2019 and also 2025. Before that, I was kind of in like Call of Duty YouTube. Last few years have basically just been a mix of CS and Valorant. So yeah, but been doing heaps of that for years. I think the first introduction to Extremesland I got, I think it was 2018, where I did the Japan qualifier, which was the Gallerina Game Master Cup. And yeah, then sort of from there, started watching all the Extremesland games, and I got my first opportunity in 2019 where I reached out to ZOWIE and sort of said like, who's running this thing? I want to get involved. And then we assisted in running the LAN. It was a 4-team LAN in Sydney. From there, I was privileged enough to actually get to fly over to China, over to Shanghai. Yeah, it was a fantastic time. I had so much fun, and I will always remember that event for the longest time. Yeah, so in Extremesland 2019, there was a game which was Dreamscape or Boot Dreamscape, the Singaporean team, versus Bren, the Filipino team. And I still remember it so deeply. Papi Chulo, one of the players, ended up going 42 to 14 on train. And it was super tight to 2-0 the team. And it was just crazy because at the time, you know, Philippines didn't have like a really strong representation in Counter-Strike. You know, they weren't sort of some of the better teams, but they had a fantastic tournament run. I think in the end, they only just lost to Tyloo. That was me and Pilsky commentating that game, and just the hype and the energy that it brought. You know, it meant so much to these players to beat out a team like Dreamscape, who had been in so many of these events, had always competed. So many famous names like Alex, Benkai, and ZOWIE, who actually, funny enough, now are succeeding or have succeeded under Paper X in Valorant these days, and are still around today. So yeah, very, very awesome to see like a match like that happen. And as I said, just the energy, it made me feel so special that I could be there and like capture that moment of what it meant for the players in the server at the time to have that level of success on LAN in a tournament like Extremesland. Yeah, so for me, I think Extremesland, as I said, 2019, I keep harping on this. This is actually where I got the jumper. For me personally, it was kind of the first event where I felt like I had made it as a caster. And for me, it was like, first time I got to go overseas, first time I was able to meet and be around a bunch of other commentators that I really looked up to, players that I'd been watching for so many years. So, which benefits, right? You know, 16 teams from the widest selection of Asia. It's not just the big regions like China or now Mongolia. It gave like every single team an opportunity to do really, really well. I'll never forget that event, as I mentioned. The after party will ring true for me forever. So yeah, no, I had a blast, and it's been awesome to still be involved with the Extremesland journey for so many years after as well. So for me, I think like, again, it harps down to the fact that Extremesland is tournament qualification from every single region, even some of the minor regions. So, you know, obviously MENA and MISA. So I think we had like EXO Esports actually win it, which was a very, very multicultural team. You know, we had a team competing from the Philippines, Vietnam, Korea, which I think is really special because in a time when Counter-Strike might not be as popular in those regions, there's still an opportunity, there's still a chance. And if it wasn't for tournaments like Extremesland, maybe there's not anything worthwhile to play in those locales, right? You know, like when other titles maybe dominate those regions, if you get an opportunity to bring a team together and play a LAN and, you know, win some prize money and everything like that, I think it could stimulate the local economy to maybe have tournament organizers run their own events. Everyone at the end of the day just gets to come together, make some new friends, and head overseas to a tournament where, you know, the money's awesome, but the LAN experience is really what it's all about. Why Extremesland does so well, I think it does get lost a little bit sometimes. So events like this remind you of what it feels like to win something, to achieve something, and then, you know, I think that's something that's really, really special to reiterate and really hold on to. Okay, rightio. This is a pretty big question. So any words to the organizers? I think they've been doing a fantastic job. I think the main thing is, you know, Extremesland, even during the pandemic, it was still consistent, right? You know, we still had some online tournaments that kind of still gave like some semblance of what we needed. But that's all I can ask for, you know, really, really expand deeper and try to build up the inexperienced regions to have a better player base, right? We've just seen what it's like for the Mongols, who have just won a big tournament, their first tier 1 tournament that I think an Asian team has ever won in the last 15 years, which is just absolutely incredible, right? And from what was considered a micro region only a few years ago, with not a massive population, still can have that success. They have come from local LAN cafes, right? You know, maybe they haven't had a computer in the family home or one that's good enough to play Counter-Strike. You know, it all comes down to those local LAN cafes, the passion, the friend building, and then just having the drive. Because if you don't have anything to play for, I do understand it. You know, there's not really anything to maybe like, you know, put in the time and the effort. So when competitions like this do happen, it does give way more of a drive and an opportunity for the players who may not have had it historically. Especially regarding enhancing the viewing experience. I definitely think we should do a big one for the 10 years. I'm really excited to see what it's going to be. But really, I think for me in the last few, having more of a live viewing opportunity, I believe, for the fans, right? You know, Chinese fans, the Chinese fans are passionate. They love the game. Counter-Strike is their bread and butter. I think giving them more of an opportunity for them and maybe some like signing sessions so the fans can meet with the players, stuff like that. And then also just like a bit more advertising for some of the micro regions, as I said, right? So giving an opportunity for not only the players who have made it through their local qualifier to have a chance to really have that advertised, you know, maybe even a LAN locally in their own region. Then from there, moving it to giving a real viewing opportunity for the people back home in those micro regions to really cheer on their team too. I think that's super important to do. If anyone wants to get into esports commentating, just keep your ear to the ground, you know, find out what events are happening, find out how you can get your eyes onto those events. You know, can you be a community commentator? And just think about it for the right reasons. It's not exactly something that you're going to get paid to do right away. You need to build up the region with you if you want to get those opportunities. It's the real ones who have been there for all those years, for the 10 years, for the same time that EXTREMESLAND has been around, that have always wanted it. And one thing is like ZOWIE has been such a constant for that. So I think that's something that's super special and it needs to be nurtured. You need to support the industries and the brands and the orgs that have been doing it for so long and make sure that they still have an opportunity and a reason to keep supporting the industry and esports in general. I don't know. I think just for me, like, again, I've been really lucky. EXTREMESLAND was my first big opportunity to dive into esports internationally. And every single time I'm a part of it, it's fun. The people who are running it, they love it. It's such a good experience. And every single person that I work with on the event, they're happy to be there, whether it be the players, the casters, the people working the event. They are just happy to be a part of it all. And I think that's something that's super special. I've not really had a poor experience and I don't think that will ever change. So yeah, I hope EXTREMESLAND and ZOWIE keep running these events for another 10 years. And, you know, here we'll be celebrating 20 years of EXTREMESLAND.